Hello dear class 9 students, I hope everyone is doing well. So today we are going to start a new chapter that is matter in our surroundings. So guys, in our first module, we will see the introduction and then we will see the definition of a matter. Now observe your classroom carefully and make a list of things that you find. Now if you observe your classroom carefully and make a list of the things you find, example, blackboard, desk, bench, fan, etc. Do all these things have mass? Yes, of course, they all have mass. And do they occupy space? Definitely you can see that they also occupy space. Apart from all these things, something else is also present in the classroom which you cannot see. Now, apart from the things that you made a list, there is something else also present in the classroom which you cannot see. For example, air. So, whatever present around us is called matter. Okay, now let us see a few more examples of matter. You can see that fruits, desert, flowers, water, sky, stars, animals, etc. So these are all examples of matter. Now in module 2, we will see the classification of matter and then we will see energy, mass and volume. Well, now let us see what is matter. Anything that has mass and occupies space is called as matter, which you can perceive through your senses. Now, as I already explained to you in the previous slide that matter is nothing but anything that has mass and it occupies space. It is called as matter. And you can perceive it through your senses. Alright? Now, let us prove that air has mass. So, this is a deflated football. Mass is 1 kg. And this is an inflated football. Mass is 1.5 kg. Now you can see that the mass of the football has increased from 1 kg to 1.5 kg in case of this inflated football. So it is because the mass of football has increased due to air. Right? Hence we can say that air has mass and it occupies space. Now because of air, the mass has increased from 1 kg to 1.5 kg. Clear everyone? So air has a mass and it also occupies space. Now let us see what is mass. So mass is a physical quantity which expresses the amount of matter in a body. Now we can define mass as a physical quantity and it expresses the amount of matter which is present in a body. Alright. Now next see what is weight. So weight is nothing but it is mass into gravitational acceleration. Alright. Now see examples of this weight. Here you can see that the pen weighing 2 kg of rice. And in the second example, you can see that a girl weighing herself on a weighing machine. Alright, this is very easy. Now let us see what is volume. Amount of gas and oil present in a respective container can be given by another physical quantity called volume. Now see the definition for volume. The space inside a container that is occupied by matter is its volume. So here you can see that the amount of gas and the oil which is present in a respective container, it can also be given by another physical quantity called volume. So here the space inside the container that occupies that occupied by matter is its volume. I hope everyone is clear now what is volume. Now there is one question for you. So is everything around us matter? Definitely not. Because you can see that heat, light and sound, all these are not matter because all these are forms of energy. So heat is a form of energy, light is also a form of energy and sound is also a form of energy. Clear everyone? Now you might be thinking that what matter is made up of. So matter is made up of tiny particles. Alright? And the particles which make up matter are atoms or molecules. So matter it is made up of tiny particles and the particles which makes up matter are atoms or molecules. Clear? Now in module 3 we will see the properties of matter. So in the first property we will see that matter is made up of small particles. Okay, now let us see that. Matter is made up of small particles. So this is the first property of matter. Take 100 ml of water in a beaker. Now in a beaker take 100 ml of water. After that, dissolve few crystals of potassium permanganate. Now in this 100 ml of water, dissolve few crystals of potassium permanganate. Now you can see that a deep purple color solution is obtained. Can you see here? Yeah. Now take 10 ml of this solution from and mix it with 90 ml of water present in second beaker to dilute it. After that, take 10 ml of this solution and then mix it with 90 ml of water which is present in a second beaker to dilute it. So from the first solution, take 10 ml of the solution and then mix it with 90 ml of water which is present in a second beaker to dilute it. Now continue to dilute it for other beakers. Likewise, continue to dilute it for 2-3 more beakers. The color of the solution becomes still lighter. Why? As you can see here, the color of the solution, it still becomes lighter, but it didn't fade away. Why? 2 or 3 crystals, tiny crystals of potassium permanganate can impart color to a large volume of water. Now we added only 2 or 3 crystals of potassium permanganate, right? But those 2 or 3 crystals of potassium permanganate, it can impart color to a large volume of water. This is because each potassium permanganate crystal is made up of millions of small particles which keep on spreading and imparting color on dilution. Now this is because the crystals of potassium permanganate, it is made up of millions of small particles and it keeps on spreading and imparting color on dilution. Alright, so this indicates the particles of matter are very small. They are small beyond our imagination. So from here this indicates that the particles of matter, they are very small and even they are small beyond our imagination. Alright, now let us see the next property of matter, that is particles of matter have space between them. And the third property, particles of matter are continuously moving. Alright, now let us see the second property of matter, that is the particles of matter have spaces between them. Okay, now take 100 ml water in a beaker. Now again take 100 ml of water in a beaker. Now mark the level of water. Now mark the level of the water. Okay, now add to this 50 gram of sugar. Now to this 100 ml of water, add a 50 gram of sugar. After that, dissolve the sugar by stirring it with a glass rod. Now dissolve the sugar by stirring it with this glass rod. Now you can notice that the level of water is the same even after the sugar has been dissolved. Now even after the sugar has been dissolved, you can see that the level of the water is same. Can you see here? Yeah. So where does the sugar go? You might be thinking, right? So see here, the sugar particles get into the spaces between the particles of water. Now see here, the sugar particles, they get into the spaces between the particles of water. So now we can say that there is space between the particles of water. So those sugar particles, they get into those spaces between the particles of water. So this indicates the particles of matter have spaces between them. So from here we can conclude that, or we can indicate that the particles of matter, they have spaces between them. Alright. So guys, now let us see the third property, that is particles of matter are continuously moving. Okay, now take potassium permanganate particles, spread throughout the water particles and mix up on their own without stirring because they are moving or they are in motion. Now, in a beaker containing water, take the potassium permanganate particles and you can see that they spread throughout the water particles and then they also mix up on their own even without stirring. This is because they are moving, or we can say that they are in motion. Can you see here? This movement of different particles among each other on their own so that they become mixed uniformly is called diffusion. Okay guys, now see the definition for diffusion. The movement of different particles among each other so that they become mixed uniformly. Now as you can see here, the movement of these potassium permanganate particles will spread throughout the water and then it mixes up on their own and it mixed uniformly. Right. So those movement of different particles among each other or even on their own, and they become mixed uniformly. So this is called a diffusion. Clear everyone? So this indicates particles of matter are continuously moving. So from here it indicates that the particles of matter, they are continuously moving. Okay students, I hope everyone is clear. So thank you everyone and see you in the next lecture.